So I'll be talking about several different parts of the deal reflection model and how we integrated that reflection model with what we were experiencing and learning. Um, so I'll be talking about the articulation of what we learned, as well as how we integrated what we learned from the course, um, as well as some of our general reflections and thoughts on our activities while working with WGO. What I'm going to be doing first is talking about what we learned in the course, as well as some of the lectures and some of the theories that we talked about in class, and how it applied to what we were actually seeing and experiencing while we were working with WGO. One of the first things we learned about in class is setting realistic goals, and so one of the things that we really wanted to do with our group was set a realistic goal. So in using what we learned in the course material, we realized that reducing waste in Hong Kong significantly in only 2 days would be very, very difficult. So although it was part of our goal, we set our main goal to help build green habits amongst people and help them change their day-to-day lives and day-to-day habits so that they would reduce the waste that they were producing. So that was a big part of implementing what we learned in the course. Another thing that we learned and implemented while we were working with WGO is how service learning is different from other activities such as volunteering or a job or things like that, because it was while we were doing service, we were also consistently learning throughout the entire process, because we didn't know too much about waste reduction and recycling and things like that before we started our project. But during our project, it was very educational. At the same time, we were providing the service, which is, as we learned in class, is a fundamental part of a service learning program. Other things that we thought were very relatable to what we learned in class was the understanding of personal strengths and abilities. So in class, we learned about our different personality types, and our team realized that it was very important to recognize these strengths and weaknesses so we could work very efficiently. So for example, the language barrier was something that we faced where, so maybe me and Sana, because we didn't speak Cantonese, we're not able to do things like write the characters or communicate sometimes to the pedestrians, so that was something we had to realize and adjust to. Also, we all brought different personal skills to our team. So some of us were better with writing, and so we helped more with the proposals and things like that. Others were good with Photoshop, and they helped with developing promotional items, such as signs and flyers and things like that. And then another thing that I think was really, really big for us that we saw in the classroom and with WGO was the reflection process and how important it was. So for us, it was important to continuously reflect because we had several different parts of our project that, and we wanted to keep improving as we were going along. So after our first corner, it was important for us to reflect and look back and see what worked well, what didn't work well, and then from there, we were able to improve our second corner and get it to where we thought it was a successful program. Next, I'm going to be talking a little bit about our overall reflections of the entire project and our experience working together and working with World Green Organization. One of the first things we realized was how important it was to promote waste reduction in Hong Kong. As we shared with you guys in our first presentation, it's a pretty serious issue, and I think we were all pretty inspired after our first visit to WGO. Another thing was, after our first event, we realized that people were very responsive if we remained positive. So having a good attitude really encouraged people to donate things and take things and really talk to us and sort of learn more about waste reduction in Hong Kong. Another thing that we learned about was the great compassion of the Chu Chi group, which is a very inspiring group of Buddhist volunteers who run a recycling center. And it was very inspiring to us to see how passionate they were about this issue. And then another thing that we learned and reflected on was understanding teamwork, as well as identifying personal strengths within our group. And similar to what I said before, I think when we looked back at the end of our project, we realized how important it was that we used these skills and identified these skills early on so we could work well together as a team.